Alright, this is SSL Family Dad with Simple Suburban Living, and trying to get a shot of the goldfish here. Water's kind of rusty here where we live, so it's always a little brown, but at least it's clear enough to see to the bottom. So lost a couple more goldfish this week, but I think we still have about 80 or 85. I lost count. There's quite a few in there. So in this video I just wanted to cover kind of the water system of the aquaponics here that we have. There's always a lot of questions, and I had a lot of questions when I set up this system, you know, about kind of how to route all the water to get to the grow beds, how to size the fish tanks and the sump tanks, and what size pump to get, and so I'm just going to kind of do a quick run through on how that works and how I designed this system and why, some of the advantages of that, just to give you some resources if you're trying to put together something like this yourself. There's a lot of resources out there on YouTube. Bright Agrotech has a great couple great videos talking about different types of water system designs for these types of aquaponics grow beds and things. So check out all the resources before you build something, but this is hopefully another resource for you to use, and hopefully some good information. So basically what I have here, the top here with the biggest tank, or the tallest tank here, is my fish tank. That's where right now I have all the goldfish hanging out. This tank is at the highest point in the system, and I designed it that way specifically. I'll kind of go into a few of those reasons here in a minute. Out of the back side of the fish tank, just maybe about 8 inches from the top, I have a 2-inch bulkhead adapter here going through out of the 2-inch PVC, and then that just kind of gradually slopes, and it's not much of a slope. It's almost at an equal level here, but it's probably about maybe an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/16 of an inch per foot slope all the way down here on these grow beds, all the way down to the end. I have a screw-on cap here because I'll probably actually messed up when I cut this piece of pipe, but I will cut this off, and I eventually will extend this down, and I'll add 4 more grow beds here. I've got plenty of space to do that. So this is where the water kind of flows off the top of that fish tank. I've got some reducers here, and then ball valves to adjust the flow into each one of these grow beds. These are flood and drain grow beds, so basically what that means is water fills in here all the way to the top at whatever level I choose, and then it drains all the way down to the bottom, and then it just keeps repeating that, so it floods and drains. These are set up, it's probably about every 8 minutes that it's a complete cycle, maybe 8 to 10 minutes that it completely fills up and drains. So they all drain at different times. They're not in sync or anything like that. Right now I just have this one actually finished, where I've got some things growing in it, and apparently attracting all the ladybugs in the world to the basement here now that I have something alive. This one's almost finished here as well. I just have to add a little more rock to it, and then these ones are empty, so you can kind of see what they look like. But these are just 3/4 inch drains. Standpipe this is what determines the level of the water, where it will fill up to. It's just maybe an inch or two below the edge of the barrels that it fills up, and then once it reaches that level, it drains down to the bottom. And then I just have these little guards on here to keep the rocks out away from the bell siphons. So the water again flows down, fills these grow beds, and then underneath here we've got the 3/4 inch drains that come out of the bottom of each one of those barrels and drains into this 2-inch PVC that I have sloped here underneath it. And this drain just comes all the way back and goes into the sump tank right here. The sump tank is just flat on the floor, obviously, so this will fill up. And at the bottom there I've got a couple things. There's the submersible pump that runs continuously. I have it turned off right now, but that just runs continuously, and that pumps the water back up through the 3/4 inch pipe here. This is about a 60 inch or 5 feet that it goes up from the floor up to the top and then back into the fish tank. I have a valve on here, so I could adjust the flow a little bit. I haven't done that, I haven't used that much. I just leave it wide open because I don't want to put extra stress on this pump. I don't think this is one of the nicer magnetic pumps where it won't burn out if you like, you know, put a lot of pressure on it. So I keep that wide open. The pump I'm using is just this Aquaponics. This is like their mid-level, the AQ 2300. They have a AQ 3000 as well, and then there's one lower than this, which is the AQ 1700. It's been awesome. It runs great. It's real quiet. The loud noise you'll hear in a few minutes is mainly just the water splashing around and things like that, but the pump is pretty quiet. And this just kind of tells you here, so at 60 inches of height that I'm pumping up, I've got about a 300 gallon per hour, 300 gallons per hour on that pump. So it pumps quite a bit more water into the tank than goes out. I've got these throttled down pretty slow. So when I have these turned on, I keep them, you know, probably about right there. So it's running out pretty slow. Right now I just have the 2 beds going, and so the pump actually pumps quite a bit of extra water into the tank, and that's why I have this overflow right here. So once the water fills up, I don't know if I can get a good shot of both pipes here. So the water will start draining out here, but then it'll back up because it's not draining out quick enough up to this level, and then it just starts pouring right out here, right back down into the sump tank. So a couple reasons I did that, just obviously so I could leave the pump on full all the time and I wouldn't have to mess with trying to get these adjusted to exactly right to, you know, keep the flow completely coming out of into all the grow beds. But this also helps the pump not burn up. So if the tank gets dry, if the grow beds are filling up and they're both all the way full, and the tank gets almost down to the bottom, there's still a little overflow going back into the tank, so the pump has something to pump all the time. Which kind of leads into the next thing. I also installed down at the bottom there a little float valve, and I got that on Amazon also. I think that was only like $15. And basically this is kind of an auto top off. So I screwed this. There's a 1/4 inch pipe coming in here, and again you can see the rusty water has turned this brown already. So anytime the sump tank is constantly filling and draining with the grow beds, because they're filling and draining. And if the system ever gets low on water, every time it gets down to that level, it adds a little bit of water. And so once it starts to lower down to that level, it just keeps adding a little bit of water each time to the system. It's nice because I can drain off a little water anytime I want to. If I've got, you know, my ammonia levels are too high or anything else, I can just drain off a little bit of water and it automatically fills up. Another reason I did that is because I'm in an unfinished basement here and I don't have any type of water source down here. I don't have a hose spigot or anything like that, so that's how I filled the system. But that 1/4 inch, this 1/4 inch line here basically just goes up and over, and I tapped it into one of these little tap valves that came with, actually, and that just screws into a cold water copper pipe here in the basement. I chose to tap into one of my lines that goes out to a hose spigot outside, because that's a hard water. It's not softened, which means that it has all of those, I'm on a well here, so it has all of those minerals and things from the well water, iron being one of them that I have. So that will help, I'm hoping, the system, you know, the nutrients provide for the vegetables and things we're going to be growing here. So, but let me see if I can plug this in really quick so you can kind of see what we're talking about. One of the reasons that I designed it this way, with the fish tank at the highest point and a gravity feed with one pump, I didn't want to have any holes drilled in the fish tank at a low level that could possibly leak or cause other problems. So with this type of a system, the way that I have it, no matter what happens, the fish tank will always be full of water. So if one of these grow beds, you know, a leak in the bottom or something else happens where water drains out of the system, the fish tank will only go down to this level. It'll only get down to the level that that pipe is at. It'll never get below that, so I can always, my fish will always be alive. There's an air stone in there that keeps, you know, some bubbles going for them. So if that ever happened, the fish would always be alive. The other way you could do this system is you could put a pump directly into the fish tank, and then pump, you know, you could put the fish tank right on the ground and pump your water directly to all your grow beds. That's another way you could do it. But then if you get a leak in the system somewhere overnight or something else happens, your pump's going to just suck that tank dry and then you're out of water. Unless you have some type of an auto top off or something. But this way, excuse me, this way no matter what happens, the fish tank's always good and full of water. The extra overflow I've got here also helps kind of aerate the water a little bit as well. So we'll go ahead and turn a couple of these on here and get it kind of running. And these are all about to drain, I think, as well. I normally have filters that I put on the ends of these to keep some of the solid waste out. I also have this supply pipe that comes through here. It goes to a T and it goes straight to the bottom of the tank, and so that way it draws the water from the bottom. So I do get some solid waste and things like that will get into the system, and then it'll actually get filtered out. I've got some nylons that I use to tie onto the end here that filter out the solid waste. So and it looks like one of our bell siphons has started, and you can kind of see the water pumping out. It comes out pretty quick once the siphon gets going. I know it's kind of loud over here, I apologize. But yeah, these will drain down pretty quick. I've got a few things I've had growing in here for a couple weeks now, oregano, and I've just planted some lettuce and things. You can see some little ones. They're starting to get up there, and got a broccoli plant, a tomato plant, and some little things. So the system's still not quite ready to get things going real well, but it does have some nitrates in it, and it is working. So that's basically the overview of the water kind of system here. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and tap them in the comments. Like the video if it was interesting or useful for you, and go ahead and subscribe. I will be releasing videos on aquaponics stuff here once a week on the system here, going over various aspects of it. I'll do a video on the light that I built as well. I also have some other projects and things that I'll post up, so if you're interested in any of this type of stuff, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll get some other videos out to you. Other than that, thanks for watching, and have a good one.